Hello everyone, my name is Anna. Welcome to Cactus Caffeine. In this video, I will be repotting my cactus seedlings. So it is winter and it's very cold outside and very windy, and that is why I am doing this indoors for this video. Pardon the lighting, but the wind is so strong outside that you would hardly hear me if I do a video outside. Anyway, this is a Frailea Castanea seedlings. I sowed this in 2021. And this is the mother plant. So I got the seeds from this plant. And I love this Frailea. Look at how beautiful that is. The purple color against the black spines. Really beautiful. And this is a compact globular cactus. It will not grow any bigger than this. And like I said, I got the seeds of this from this mother plant. So this seedlings, as you can see, the pot is already crowded. That is why I want to repot it. And not only that, if you will notice, the soil is actually very low already. So I think when as I water this, some of the soil would actually go out through the drainage holes. And that is why the cactus and the soil is sinking in the pot. And if I take this out, you will see that the cactus is actually not growing right. The top are rounded, but the bottom it's thin and long. That's because the bottom is not receiving any sunlight because the sides are blocking it, obviously. So I think this is the best time now to repot this cactus. So this morning I was watching the video of Lynn of Desert Plants of Avalon. She repotted her Parodia Hasselbergii seedlings, and it made me miss repotting. So she inspired me to do a repotting today. Very timely also because it is winter outside, nothing to do outside, not much. But this at least gives me a chance to do something. Okay, this actually was growing inside. This is one of the few pots that I have growing indoors, and this is one of them. So I don't think this went into winter dormancy. Anyway, it is actively growing all throughout because it is warm in the room where it is at. The room is like in the low 70s, so pretty warm, and it is actively growing. Okay, so this is what I'm telling you. So the sides, they're very thin actually because they're not getting enough sunlight, and pale color, they have a pale color as well. So it is time for me to separate this. These are too small to go into individual pots like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in another container, a bigger one. This is actually my dog food container. I'm recycling it. Okay, and I will just spread this around in this container and let it grow a little bigger before I would probably pot it into individual pots like this one. So the soil that I took out from here, I just transferred it here, no big deal. And my container, by the way, I poked some holes underneath it. Okay, and then this is the soil that I will be using. This soil, I actually I mixed seed starting mix. I sifted it though because the seed starting mix has a lot of big barks. There's some in here. So I had to remove the big barks. I just wanted the finer one. So I sifted the seedling mix, and then I mixed some sand and pumice in it. I would say this is 60-40, 60% organic and 40% inorganic. So that is what I'm going to use here for my seedlings. Now, the reason I sifted my soil is because cactus seedlings have very fine roots. And if there's big chunks in my soil, the roots of the cactus has a hard time forming or grasping, taking hold of the soil. So if it's finer, it's easier for the cactus to grow and spread its roots. That is the reason why I sift my soil when I'm doing cactus seedlings. So I will just try to separate them. There's no need for me to separate them individually. So I'll probably just do clusters as much as I can. So I'm just giving the roots a little bit of rubbing, take out some soil, and this will separate them. You just need a little bit of patience with these little tiny ones. As much as possible, you don't want to damage the roots. So just be very gentle, be patient. Okay, this Frailea are native to South America, Brazil, I think, and Uruguay. So they're native in South America. So this winter time, it doesn't like freezing temperatures. I have the mother plant in my greenhouse. My greenhouse is heated. It goes to as low as around 45 degrees Fahrenheit in my greenhouse, and that is fine with this Frailea. But usually, you would want to keep them not lower than 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I can get away with 45 because I have a very dry climate here. So it doesn't matter if, so they're okay even if they go below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. But normally you don't want them to go below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. They're very sensitive to freeze. And then in the summertime, they can take high temperatures. And I mean like over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They love high heat, but you would want to keep them from direct sunlight. So just protect them from direct sunlight because as you can see, it doesn't have big spines to protect it. So it will easily burn if you expose it to direct sunlight for a long period of time. Now I was able to separate them into clusters. I did like 2 or a trio, some of them 4. Okay, so I did not do them individually since they are very small. And then I will pot them up in here. I think I did not mention earlier that when I made my soil, I actually added worm casting to the soil as my fertilizer. So it has worm casting, not too much. A little worm casting goes a long way in the soil. So that is the fertilizer that I added to my soil. All right, so I will be doing a community pot, like I said. And later on, maybe probably after a year as this grows, I will transfer it to its own pot. I would probably do 3 in a pot, 2, 3, or 4 in a pot because it is small. And I don't think it offsets. I think it is solitary. I might be wrong, but mine is solitary, as you can see. It did not form any offset. So rather than having one tiny cactus in a tiny pot, I think I'll have like a cluster. I will do a cluster when this grows in a bigger pot. Another interesting information about Frailea is that it is cleistogamous. I don't know if I said that word right, but what it means is that it is self-pollinating. So when it flowers, it will set fruit, even though it doesn't. You don't have any other Frailea flower that pollinates it. So it will set fruit by itself, and usually the flowers do not open. So you will see your Frailea forming bud, and it happened to me before. I was so excited seeing the bud, and then next thing I know, it already set fruit and I didn't even see the flower open. And that is one characteristic of Frailea. They will open up their buds, but it takes very high heat. Like mine, my Frailea, I saw its flower several times only during the height of the summer when it is very, very hot. that is when it will show its flower or open up its flower. But most of the time, it just goes from forming buds and then setting fruit right away, or forming a fruit right away. The flower is very beautiful. It's yellow. It is big, relatively big compared to the size of the cactus. So when it opens, it usually hides the cactus with its yellow petals. So it has big flower compared to its size. All right, I just have a couple more that I can probably insert there, and this one in here. And then I will add more soil to it, because I know, again, as I water, the soil will start becoming more compact, and again, it will sink in its container. All right. And I will give this a water right away. Like I told you, it did not go into winter dormancy anyway, since this is growing indoors. It is used to being watered regularly, and it's actively growing right now. So I will give this a little spritz of water, not too much. Okay. If these were a little bit bigger, I would probably wait maybe 2 to 3 days before I water it. But since these are so tiny, they don't like their roots to be dry for a long period of time. So I'm going to give it water right away. Also, the soil that I use is very dry. Okay, and then I will not put top dressing yet, because these are very small. If I put top dressing, I'm afraid I will bury some of the seedlings. So I will let it grow a little bit more. Like this one, it's so small. I'll let it grow a little bit more before I put top dressing on them. Okay, I like to use top dressing because it helps eliminate or prevent the fungus gnats from laying eggs on the soil. So I like to use top dressing as well on my seedlings. Plus, it helps keep the moisture longer in the soil. All right, here they are now, all potted up. Aren't they so cute? I will continue to grow this indoors by my window. And then here is the mother plant. This is, by the way, said to be short-lived. Frailea are short-lived, about 10 to 15 years. Well, shorter relatively to the lifespan of other cacti. So 10 to 15 years. I don't know how long this has been growing since I got this already matured. But at least now I have the seedlings of it. So cute. All right. So if you like this video, guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like cactus and other desert plants. And until next time, bye everyone, and cheers.